I'm going to be doing a spoon rest now. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a piece of clay a little bit bigger than what we did for the pinch pot. Okay? Now the spoon rest, we're going to need to roll out. Okay? So there's a couple different ways you can do it. First way I'm going to show you is by using 2 sticks. You get 2 that are a similar thickness, and you lay it down, and you start to roll it out. Now it is very important that, especially when the clay is this wet, that you flip it between every roll. Okay? If you do not, it will end up sticking. Now, this is giving it a complete, easy, even thickness through the whole thing. This is called a slab. Okay? What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to thin this one out a little bit more. And I'm doing this very lightly. I'm not pushing hard because I don't want to push one side harder than the other and end up making it not even. But I wanted it a little bit thinner and longer than what I had. So now I have a slab that's even all the way across. Okay? I'm going to show you 2 different ways to make a spoon rest. The first one is going to be like this, and then I'll show you the second one using a different technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a very simplistic design, so that way when you guys do it, this won't, hinder any of your creativity. So I'm going to do the most basic of spoon rest designs. Okay, which is just like this. Now, in order to make this an actual spoon rest, the spoon rest is for cooking. You put it next to your stove, and that way when you're cooking something, you don't end up spilling all over your stove. Okay, the next step, once we get to here, is we're going to take some clay, and I'm going to shape it just on the table into basically a miniature mold. And what I'm doing is I'm just laying this out, and it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. Now I'm going to create a little hump here, so that way it creates a lip for the handle. Okay? But it's just a rough design like this. It does not have to be perfect. And depending on your shape and what your final thing's turning into, lean over. Ooh, that was a lot of water fast. All right. You're going to get a paper towel. You're just going to add a little bit of water to it just so it flexes a little bit easier. And if I can open it, you're going to cover this in the paper towel. That's just to create a border between your spoon rest and your mold. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to lay it over top just like that, and I'm going to press it in. And you can add, if I want to have like a double, And then you can use a tool if you want to edit its shape a little bit. You can use a needle tool to go through and cut and create whatever shape you want. But the basic concept is that your initial spoon rest is determined based on the mold you made below. Okay? Now the next step, if I were to try to pick this up, okay, pretend this was it, as soon as I pick it up, it starts losing that shape. So what you need to do is once you finalize it, you're going to need to hit it with a heat gun. Now, the heat gun works very well drying it out. However, it will catch this paper on fire if I leave it on it for too long. So I need to make sure that I'm constantly moving around and never touch this part. You will get a second-degree burn if you touch that part. Okay? It comes out at 1200 degrees Fahrenheit, so it does get very, very, very hot. Even putting your hand under it, you will feel that heat, and it is not comfortable. Every now and then test it. Like right now, it's still way too soft. And all I'm doing is drying it. If your paper starts to get too dry, watch out. Just add a little bit of water onto the paper so that way you don't have to worry about that catching fire. Once it's dry enough for you to be able to handle it, you don't want it to be completely dry where it can't move, but you want it to be dry enough where now it's holding shape. I could take it off my mold, and now I can go through and actually use these paper towels and a little bit of water to start smoothing edges and cleaning up the entire project. Again, if it feels too soft in areas, just come by and hit it with the heat gun. This is now extra clay that if you're adding anything to it, you can add this clay in by slipping and scoring. But this is the basic process of the one way of how to create a spoon rest. Okay? Cool. All right, we're gonna step back so you can see the whole thing. The other way that you can roll out a slab is by using this machine. It's called a slab roller. What you do is you put your clay on the slab roller. Okay? Now, this will spread the clay out this way. It will not make the clay wider this way. So you need to start with the clay as wide as you want it to be. Then you cover it, you crank it down, and then back, and now my clay is rolled out to the perfect size. So we'll come back over here. Okay, so the next step is I could take something, I could trace it, or if I have something like this, and I want it to be this size, I'm just going to go in and mark it like that. Okay, I can now take either a needle tool or a knife tool, whichever you prefer, and I'm going to cut this out. So if you have a more intricate design, you're going to draw it onto paper first, and then you can transfer it on. And I'll show you that in a second. Okay, but now I have this circle. Now, if I have a piece of paper and it has a design on it, okay, what you'll do is, I'm trying to find a not too sharp a one. This will work. okay? If you have a design on a piece of paper, and I want this exact star onto here, you lay your paper on top of your clay, and all you do is press in. I'm not pressing really, really hard. I'm just pressing hard enough that, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, maybe if I go under a little bit better light, I can now see it in here. So I can then retrace it into here, and I have the entire exactly the same star. So I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but that's how you would transfer from paper onto clay. What we're doing, however, is we're going to add in a coil rim for this spoon rest. Now this is a very easy spoon rest, so if you do this, I expect you to find a way to make it yours, make it unique, make it interesting. Okay, and what we're going to want is an even coil that will fit all the way around. Okay, so once we have that, anytime you add 2 pieces of clay, you need to score it. We'll score here. And then you need to add slip. All slip is just a mixture of clay and water. But you need to get a good amount on. You put your coil on, you shimmy it back and forth until it smooths down. Then you could take a rib tool, or whatever tool you want, and we're going to smooth this. And we're going to slowly work on the inside, smoothing around. Then we work on the outside, smoothing it together so that way it looks as if it is one piece. Okay, now obviously you'll take a little bit more time than I am. I'm just working through it quick. The last thing you would do here is create that spouted edge for your spoon to go in. So this is the other basic way to make a spoon rest. All right. And then we're going to do one more thing. You can stop. These are 4 examples of spoon rests. And you could take them, like this is made using the mold on the outside. This was made using the mold on the outside. So is this. This is actually made by building up the edge. Then they kind of cut under. But it depends what you want to turn it into. They took the simple idea and turned it into a football, turned it into a whale, into a shark, and then into a leaf with smaller leaves on it. So what you want to do is up to you.